How's it going, guys? This is Logan Van Staalduinen. I'm doing the final YouTube summary for the class. It's on Bach, and today what we're going to talk about is mainly his music style. We're not necessarily in a history class, so I'm not going to give you a background on his life, but Bach was a very interesting composer, a very unique composer, and that's what we're going to talk about here today. Bach mainly wrote in the Baroque style, so that's really early, like 1600s, 1700s. And they're really like the first type of, let's say, music style that dealt with composing and performing in front of other people. They're really innovative. I really like to call most Baroque era composers like the king of that area, kind of like what they call Elvis Presley, or that's like king of rock, or like Michael Jackson would be king of pop. Some of these guys are kings of classical music, really, when it comes to stuff like that. And so he's in the Baroque period, and mainly what a lot of his stuff that he wrote was religious affiliated. So he wrote a lot of church music. It is said that Bach had a great or devout relationship to God, and so uh, he used his talents to glorify him in many ways. He did over like hundreds of works that are really show his relationship with God. Another big part of Bach's musical career was his four-part harmony. They started off before him. Really, it's not like he invented it or anything, but he kind of, in a way, perfected it, and he really made it become popular. And for example, in the 1740s, he staged an arrangement of Pergolesi's Stabat Mater. I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly. I don't know. He upgraded the Valia part. That really made the composition more of the four-part harmony, and people loved it. It was a rage. It was amazing, and it's stuff like that that really Bach is known for. Just his creativity and his innovation really kind of took him over the top as compared to other composers of the time period. Um, let's see. Major development in Bach's time was modulations, which is like changing the key course of a piece. Um, he really went beyond what most other people would. He really experimented a lot in him. Most times in the Baroque period, their let's say their instruments were kind of limited. Like kind of like how today a lot of pop music or a lot of country music kind of sounds the same. It's the same thing, and he wanted to do stuff that would explore, that would go beyond the norm. He wanted to go beyond what was normal, and that was huge because like it takes a lot of guts to do that and to be a successful composer. Because you really want to play to crowds, you want to play to what's popular, and he kind of made what he did popular, and so that's hats off to him for really making his name known by going out and above and beyond and experimenting and making new stuff popular. Um, he didn't. One thing that is kind of surprising that many composers did back in his day was write operas, and he did not. Um, it really wasn't his type of thing. He was more into making music and making songs rather or pieces rather than making like a play, kind of like what an opera is. And another big thing that I believe was huge for him that maybe not might not have been as popular or done in the past was giving solo performances during a piece. Kind of like how you're hearing an old classic rock song, or like you're listening to Leonard Skinner or Van Halen, and every once in a while you'll get an amazing guitar solo. It's the same thing here, except it might have been, like a cello solo or some other type of stringed instrument solo, or even for him, piano solo. He was very experimental on as far as like the organ goes, and so it's stuff like that where Bach just went above and beyond as far as using his instruments, using the four tone harmony. It's just stuff like that that really kind of set him apart from other composers during the time period, and is what makes Bach a well-known composer to this day, and arguably one of the most famous Baroque style composers that ever lived. So I want to thank y'all. Have a great rest of the summer, and we'll see you.